Week 8 NFL action. Welcome to Picks from the DawgHouse NFL edition. And as we do usually on this show, we start with Ron the Don Romanelli. We missed you last week, my man, but glad to have you back this week. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Jay. Thanks for having me back. Feeling a little bit under the weather, but ready to talk about this NFL card. I think it's a okay card. I think there's some ugly games, honestly, but this primetime game we're going to talk about is one of the better ones. So excited to talk about it.
Yes, sir. Um, hey, last week the public had a field day.
Oh yeah.
It was the most public week of them all of ever, really, in NFL history. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens this week, man. I'm just want y'all to know at the start of this show, if it looks too good to be true this week, it probably.
Yeah, I think you'll see quite the correction there by the books, and when you see, like you said, when it's not necessarily public, but when you see a lot of the favorites win like that and cover the spread,
Yeah.
usually means Ron had a tough Sunday, and I did, went 0-3 NFL Sunday, so looking to bounce back for sure, and feel pretty good about my chances.
For sure. Don't feel bad. Like I said, every favorite won last week except for one. The only one that didn't win was the Chargers, and they had no business being favored over the Colts.
Oh yeah, that was a close one. Yeah.
So,
in terms of the spread, yeah.
Before we hop into it, we got to do our weekly check-in. They're now favorites to win the Super Bowl, man. It's kind of crazy what could happen over a couple of weeks.
I know.
The Kansas City Chiefs, though, are they? How are you feeling on your under ticket on their season win total this year?
Yeah, I still feel pretty good. I think it's still likely that they lose enough games to go under. I think that they are a good team, though. I think that they're better than I expected. But a lot of the a lot of the reasoning behind the win total under was just because of the tough schedule that they had. And, they already played the Chargers, Eagles. I mean, the Giants have been better than expected. The Ravens have not been anywhere near as good as expected, but Jacksonville's been competitive. The Lions, of course. And, they benefit from playing the Commanders this week without Daniels. But then you got Buffalo in Buffalo, Denver in Denver, the Colts, who are a lot better than expected. Thanksgiving Day against the Cowboys in Dallas, and Cowboys always play well in those spots. So it's not there's no gimmies. I mean, you play the Titans later on, you play the Raiders again, but it's still going to be a lot of situations where the Chiefs are small favorite, small dog, and I think we get enough of those to go under the total. But I wouldn't necessarily hate the Chiefs being favored to win, the conference. I mean, this has been a wide open conference. The Bills looked like the team in the beginning of the season, and now they've struggled. The Ravens have been nowhere to be found. So can't really trust Denver or the Chargers that much. It's kind of their first year as front runners. So, I think the Chiefs are certainly up there with Rashee Rice now in the offense. He looked great. And I think, Mahomes has been better than what we saw the first couple of weeks.
Goat Mahomes, man. Put some respect on his name, man.
I
think he has the best odds to win MVP right now, currently.
Yeah.
He's played well. I think he's only thrown 2 picks, and one of them wasn't even his fault. That was Kelsey's fault.
Yeah.
Mahomes playing well. I would probably still give it to my guy. I'm biased. Everybody knows it. But it's going to be a hell of a race, and we'll see what happens with those Chiefs. I just think it's a fun conversation to continue to have week by week. It's kind of crazy to see how it's transpired over the season. To see like the general masses look on the Chiefs. First it was, oh, they're done, they're cooked, the dynasty's over, and then just a couple weeks later they're Super Bowl favorites. It's kind of crazy. So see what happens. I do think you're live still though on your under. They got a tough schedule remaining.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we'll see what happens. Man, let's talk some football this week, man. Where are we headed to here on the show?
We're gonna go to Pittsburgh. We've got the Sunday night football game, Packers Steelers. Yeah, I really think the Steelers defense was exposed last week. It was considered one of the better defenses in the league, but you look at the yards that they gave up in a lot of those games. A lot of those teams, their best yardage of the season in those matchups against the Steelers, because the Steelers played such a weak schedule. They played the Jets, the Seahawks, Patriots, Vikings, Browns, and then Cincinnati last week. So one of the weaker schedules in strength of schedule. And this was a Joe Flacco-led offense in Cincinnati that put up 470 total yards, ran the ball all over the place when they had not really run the ball very well going into that game. And then, of course, 328 passing yards. So this Steelers defense, I don't consider it a strength of their team. They get great pass rush. They'll be able to rack up the sacks, of course, with Watt. But the secondary, I think, is bend and hopefully don't break. And it definitely broke last week. And I think it will again against Green Bay. I think the Packers will be able to move the ball very easily in this game. Even though I'm not the biggest Jordan Love fan, he does make some mistakes and some bad reads, but still has a lot of talented receivers, still talented himself. And I think the Packers have no problem moving the ball. Question is, can the Packers make enough stops? I think they can. I think it's kind of similar to Cincinnati, where they were able to force some turnovers and a horrible defense. I mean, the Bengals have been one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Still did enough to win that game in the end. And Green Bay is much stronger defensively. Steelers should be able to run the football here. But I think Green Bay is still one of the better defensive teams in the NFC and the NFL. I think they find enough stops, even on the road in this game, to end up with the win and the cover. I like Green Bay. I think they win it by a touchdown.
Ron, I love you, but I'm going to disagree.
That's okay.
I'm going to take the Steelers in this one. I don't really disagree with a lot of what you said. I just think we see this differently. A lot of what you said was correct. You know, the Steelers defense is a little overrated. They're not as good on the field as they are on paper. But that's exactly how I feel about the Packers. The Packers are not nearly as good on the field as they are on paper. Like, coming off back-to-back non-covers against two not really great teams in the Cardinals and the Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, that 40-40 tie with Dallas. Like, this defense, the offense has kind of done what they're supposed to do, but this Green Bay defense hasn't been as good as I think some people would try to give them credit for. Like, they allowed Cincinnati to kind of have those late drives in the end to make that game look closer than it looked. Same thing with Arizona. And we already know what happened in that Dallas game. Dallas is the best offense in the league, but 40 burger, that's still not encouraging. So I like the revenge angle here for Aaron Rodgers. You know, Pittsburgh at home, steel curtain, night game. Bounce back game for the Steelers after, you know, probably one of the most head-scratching, ugly losses this season in all of the NFL. At least hindsight's 2020. It's probably not as bad, but if you were to tell people beforehand, people would probably be really shocked that the Steelers lost that game to the Bengals. I don't know, man. I told you at the beginning of the season, I believe in the Steelers. I like good head coaching. I think Mike Tomlin, one of the best head coaches in the league. I think he has his team ready to play, ready to get up for this one on Sunday night. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it should be. I think it'll be score for a while. And I agree with you. Green Bay's defense has not been unstoppable, but I still think it's the better one in this matchup.
That's fair. That's fair. At home, though, man, we'll see if the steel curtain shows up and shows out Sunday night too. Oof. Oh no, them night games in Pittsburgh just feel different. Getting close to Halloween too, like, oof. We'll see what happens. I'm excited about this week's NFL action, this NFL card. I think I'm seeing it pretty well. I know you probably are feeling great about this weekend as well. What you got going on over at Pick Dawgz Premium this week?
Yeah, looking like a pretty solid NFL card. Nothing crazy, but some strong against the spread plays, and I've got one of them as my NFL play of the week. I've got 4 total plays right now in the NFL, so we'll see if there's. I've got my eyes on a few other ones that we may be adding, but it's always the best idea to grab a long-term plan to get all my plays across all sports with the NBA back, with college basketball right on the horizon. That's always the way to go. But check it out at Pick Dawgz Premium. Looking to keep rolling, having a great year overall, last 365. So let's keep cashing tickets.
Keep cashing tickets with Ron the Don Romanelli, man. We appreciate you coming on the show this week. We'll check you out on the YouTube channel. Plenty of content from you. Bank shot breakdown on the horizon. Ron's rundown coming to a conclusion for the season with the World Series here. And plenty of other content from you on the channel as well.
Sounds great, Jay. And I think we'll see you on the jam session. You might see me on the jam session next week as well.
Be on the lookout, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you, Ron.
Yep. See you, Jay.
Peace. And we keep it rolling here on the NFL show. I got my man, Jeremy Conn, with me. Jeremy, what's happening? How you doing this week?
What's up, man? Yeah, looking for a bounce back after last week, still hitting 59% in the NFL. But last Sunday, that damn public ass Sunday did some damage to me. But we get another week to kind of win some of that back. And I think this is a really good slate.
Hey, no shame in last week. That was literally no hyperbole. That was the squarest week ever in NFL history. All the favorites except for one won last week. And the one dog that won had no business being a dog in the first place in the Indianapolis Colts. So the best team in the league. So crazy week last week, man. But we move on to this one. Great bounce back week. Overreaction week. The public finna get slaughtered this week. We'll see what happens, man. Where we headed to first in this NFL action?
Yeah, and I think you're going to agree with me on this one. We're going to New Orleans, and this is that spot that the public, I think, is totally misreading this game. It's not that I'm going to sit here and tell you that the Buccaneers are a bad team. In fact, I think the exact opposite. Baker Mayfield should be one of the front runners for MVP, and right now he's down to what? His 5th, 6th, and 7th wide receiver and his backup running back, and he's still been making things happen. But it's about this spot, and it's about New Orleans being a house of horror for Tampa Bay. I am going to miss the old matchup of Mike Evans versus Marshawn Lattimore, and that was the first thing you would talk about when these two teams meet. But this Saints team's not as bad as you think, and this Buccaneers team plays close games with inferior opponents. That's what's happened all season long. I think this is the perfect spot. You might call it a vomit play because that's what I would, of clicking that button and taking the Saints plus the 4.5, even though I think there's a very good chance they win outright. We're still talking about a Buccaneers team that was all the way on the West Coast, right? Coming off of Monday Night Football, now going on the road again. Those are spots that I always look for. Going on the road after Monday Night Football, especially when you're on the road on Monday Night Football. So give me the Saints all day, every day.
Word for word, bar for bar, man. I just think it's a good spot to fade Tampa. They have been a money-making machine this year. Baker playing with so much swag. But division game on the road, short week. I think the Saints, while they are one of the worst teams in the league, I like some of the production they're getting out of some of these bad players. They're playing hard, you know? They're a bad team playing hard that you can bet in certain spots. Division game, at home, at the crib, in the Caesars Superdome, north of a field goal. Let's get it done, New Orleans. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, as I said to someone, I said, this feels like a field goal game either way, and I feel like I'm catching some extra. And if I believe that the dog is live, I'm definitely going to grab the points as well.
Yep. Fair enough. Where are we headed to next this week?
My backyard. We're going to Baltimore. So a bunch of things that I want to go over in this one, and hear me out. I'm not a homer. I'm far from a homer. Truth be told, I was a Colts fan when I got in the radio 20-some years ago, and I'm a Peyton Manning truther. So I do have a little bit of bias when it comes to him. But that being said, I mean, I try to speak as honestly as I can. And the fact of the matter is, if Lamar plays on Sunday, this is a Ravens offense that's scored 40, 38, 31, and 20 with Lamar in. And they're also getting back their battering ram on offense in Patrick Ricard. This guy is just an absolute nightmare for linebackers and defensive backs. And wherever he goes, that's where Derrick Henry follows. The Bears are in the bottom 5 in rush defense in this league. They're on a 4-game winning streak, and they come in as a 6.5-point dog with a team that has so many question marks. They look like the damn Riddler. It's just absurd here when you think about this. The Ravens now getting healthy, and I've said this before, coming off of a bye week in the regular season, one of the best teams in all of football. I am going to ladder Derrick Henry. I'm going to start at his prop at 91. I'm going to bet the over there. I'm going to bet it at 100, 110, 120, all the way up to 150. I think he goes off. This is a puffy pants game for me. Ravens win big over the Bears.
Mama, that man, he's back. And his team needs him to come back and be Superman. And I think he's going to be exactly that. And the reason I think that is the numbers. Man, there's one thing that the Ravens do that you can almost book. And that is they going to show they ass against NFC opponents. You can't replicate that speed. You're not built to play it. You can't replicate it. Chicago's been playing well, first 4-game win streak, I think in 10 years. Ben Johnson got these boys playing well. This is just as bad of a spot as it gets. Ravens playing for their season, back up against the wall, and they get in the top 3, top 2, and he might not be 2 player in the league back in this one, man, and I think he puts his cape on.
The other part of this, too, that I want to point out is so Roquan Smith comes back, former Bear, play against his team. Roquan's been having somewhat of a down year. People have questioned, has he gotten slower? But the thing I noticed is when he was out, you missed slow Roquan because the step down was so great. They're getting healthier in the cornerback department. They moved Kyle Hamilton closer to the line of scrimmage after trading for the Samoan missile from the Chargers. In that swap, they gave up Adafi Owe in 2 games, has 2 sacks for the Chargers. This team is not going to have a pass rush unless they do something to generate it. It's not coming from singular players. They're going to have to blitz. And on top of it, moving Kyle Hamilton to line of scrimmage, they are going to get better in the run game. So their defense will get better, but the catch-22 is you're going to stop teams from running the football, which is going to make them what? Throw the football, and that's where you're weak. So I still think this Ravens defense is going to give up points. That's why I think the over's in play as well. But I do like this to be a high-scoring affair that the Ravens cover.
There you go. Man, I think this is I already told you at the beginning, man. It's one of those weeks, so be ready. Be ready.
Have fun, public.
Have fun. Buckle up. And if you think it looks too easy or it's too good to be true this week, it probably is. We'll see what happens. Jeremy, I know where to find your favorite place, and that's over at Pick Dawgz Premium. What you got going on this week?
Yeah, currently hitting 59% in the NFL. Been a good week. Got on the short end of the stick for the under on Thursday night with that last field goal. But going to bounce back Sunday. As soon as I looked at this card, there were 3 games that I just fell in love with. And then when you start handicapping more, you start to see some spots where I think there's some overvalued teams and undervalued teams. And there's a couple of games where those teams are playing each other, I think. So looking forward to this slate. You can check it out over Pick Dawgz. I have my top 5 up. My best bet is there as well. So looking to keep this streak going and keep the winning up here at Pick Dawgz.
On with Jeremy, ladies and gentlemen, and continue to do exactly that. Cash tickets, win you some bets, and make you some money, man, with my guy Jeremy over at Pick Dawgz Premium. Link directly to his handicapper page in the description below. He does a ton of free content for us here on the YouTube channel as well. He does the lowdown every day. Y'all should check that out. Plenty of good free information on the daily, and plenty of other shows here on the channel as well, as he does live and recorded content for us, man. So, Jeremy, appreciate you. Love having you here on the show, man, and we'll see you throughout the week.
Appreciate it, Jay. I consider myself the second hardest working man at Pick Dawgz. Who's number 1?
That's a tight race.
Hey, I'm not talking any trash to anybody. I still work a full-time job to go along with all this other stuff that's going on. So,
man, nah, we're just pulling your leg, but nah. Man, we all putting in that work. Hop on over at Pick Dawgz Premium. Let's continue to do the damn thing, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you, Jeremy.
All right, man. I'll see you.
Peace. And we keep it rolling here on the NFL show. And I got Ashley here with me. Ashley, how you doing this week?
What's going on, Jay? Doing pretty well. We had a solid NFL Sunday last week. Went 3-1. Didn't open up this week too great on Thursday Night Football. The Bucs got absolutely spanked, so that was a tough start, but we're going to bounce back strong here in this Sunday slate. I feel good about it.
I'm in the exact same boat with you there. I had a dominant Sunday, and then I threw away a unit on the Vikings yesterday.
It's, it's always like Vision's 2020, right? After the fact, it's like, afterwards, like, what was I thinking? But before, I felt great about it, but man, Carson Wentz did not look good.
Man, and that defense is not looking good either. Like that's supposed to be the staple of that team, and they just getting done any kind of way right now. But
yeah, I think that the Chargers are dangerous. I think we just saw how. We knew that their O-line was beat up, but I think they came out and proved just how dangerous they are when their line is healthy. So Herbert looked good. Their offense looked good. And the Chargers are real competitors here this year.
Yeah, shout out to them Chargers. I'm a hater of them, but they look good. I'll give them.
We also saw Herbert use his legs a lot more. I think we all kind of forgot how dangerous he is on the ground. He was beat up for most of the season last year, so we didn't see too much of that. And I think we all kind of forgot that he's dangerous on the ground too, and he wants to be.
Yep. Shout out to them Chargers, man. We'll see what they got for the remainder of the season. See if they can keep their shit together.
Yeah.
Money making weekend on the horizon, though. Solid NFL action coming up this weekend. Where we headed to first?
Yeah, we'll throw it over to Philly. We have a rematch here already between the Giants and Eagles here in this one. I'm not going to make the same mistake twice here. A couple weeks ago, I had taken the Eagles minus the 7.5 as the same spread, but we saw the Giants absolutely dominate them at home. Obviously, Philly had a huge bounce back week last week. Jalen played great, but these Giants are scrappy, man. I mean, they obviously blew that game against the Broncos deep into that game, but Jackson Dart, Scatterboo, they're getting it done. And, I think they're a team that just kind of goes balls to the wall, like they have nothing to lose type thing is kind of how they play. And, Philly looked a lot better last week, but they're still leaving a lot to be desired. They still are ranked 26th total offense, 30th rushing offense, 22nd in passing. They're not great against the spread. 0-3 ATS as favorites of 4 or more points this season. 0-2 ATS in divisional games so far. 1-2 ATS at home. I just think that we're getting the hook here. New York obviously has the confidence. They know they can come in and they know they could win potentially, but I don't think they're going to. But I do think they're going to keep it close. So I will be rolling with the Giants plus 7.5 this time. Not going to make the same mistake twice.
Yeah, I'm on the Giants again in this one too. They should have beat them Broncos last week. They should have.
I had Denver in my survivor pool. I really sweated that one out. Yeah. Yeah, I really sweated that one out. I'm just glad I don't have to touch the Broncos again the rest of the season.
Yeah, man, that what a sweat that was for you.
Yeah.
Philadelphia is the better football team. They should win this game. I agree with Ashley on that. But I think not the Broncos. I think the Giants can come in here and compete. The Eagles looked really good last week, but then we saw the Chargers look really good against that same Vikings defense. That's kind of what I was talking about a minute ago. So it's like, how much do we take from that? How much translates? We just saw these two teams play that not that long ago. I think it's going to be fairly competitive again. Eagles win, but I don't like that hook either. I'm going to take the G-Man. See what happens. Give me a Cam Scott
lots of underdogs I actually like this week.
Me too.
Underdog week.
I'm glad you talked about it. So last week, every favorite won except for one.
Mm-hmm.
And that one was the Colts. They were an underdog, and they shouldn't have been an underdog in the first place. They're the best team in the NFL.
Yeah. That was an odd line. I think there's some odd lines this week too, but yeah. Taking a lot of points this week. So a fair warning and maybe a tease to some of my picks to come Sunday. But
there you go. I will be on some dogs this week too. Where we headed to in our second game of the show?
Throwing it over to Carolina, talking some dogs. If Bryce Young was playing, I mean it wouldn't even be a question in my mind. Right. But we're seeing Andy Dalton. I still like the points, honestly. I mean, Andy Dalton, he's not a star backup by any means, but he got a good amount of work last year. He's seasoned. He's consistent. You kind of know what you're going to get out of him. But Carolina has played well at home this year. They're 5-2 ATS overall. They're perfect 3-0 straight up and against the spread at home. Their defense has been, very solid kind of across the board. I think I don't really know what's going on with this Bills team. They're good, but they're really not as dominant as we've seen in recent years. And really the only 2 games that they've dominated this year. I mean, I guess the Saints, but I wouldn't even say they dominated that game. And then the Dolphins, and we know how terrible Miami is. But Bills ranked dead last in the league, allowing 5.8 yards a carry. And we've seen how Dowdle's been ramping up. Chuba's obviously dangerous. So I think this is definitely a game where Carolina is going to run the ball, probably control the clock. I think they're going to keep it close. Again, we're getting a hook here with the touchdown. I really like the points. Buffalo's 0-4 against the spread in their last 4, 1-3 ATS at home. I I don't know, something about the Bills. They've had ball security issues. Josh has 3 interceptions in his last 2 games. In those last 2 games, they've also fumbled the ball 4 times. They only lost 2 of them, but still, I just think something's not right with that Bills team, and I think the Panthers can keep this one close. So I'll roll with the points here.
Panthers have been a money-making machine at home. They've been dominant at home this season. If Bryce Young was in here, I might have took them boys money line. Damn.
The line didn't really move too much either, it seems. It stayed pretty consistent, which is too bad. I thought maybe we'd be able to get a few more points out of it with Andy under center. But, yeah, this Bills team, they're not what they used to be. I'm not sure what the missing piece is, but.
Yeah, come Sunday, I could see this line ballooning a little bit come Sunday. We'll see. He might get a better number on Sunday with the Panthers. But I feel like the Panthers are the right play. I can't play without Bryce Young now. I can't back Red Rocket. It's the right play. And, everything you said is points right on. I wanted the Panthers this week. I wanted Bryce to play, man.
Yeah, it would have been, that would have been an interesting matchup for sure. Buffalo's going to win, but only by too much.
Money-making weekend on the horizon. What you got going on over at Pick Dawgz Premium this weekend?
Yeah, I have my NFL best bet of the day, and then I also have a 3-pack if you want a little bit more action to go across the entire board. And then, as always, I have my longer-term packages, so if you want to lock in for a week, a month, or a whole year, those are available. You can also still pick up my season-long football package, which will get you every single college and NFL pick through the rest of the season, including playoffs and Super Bowl. So definitely check those out. We got a lot of sports going on right now. I'm covering a lot of hockey, as well as we got a World Series kicking off here, or we just had it kick off on Friday. So if you want to get in on some of those World Series picks, definitely grab one of my long-term packages, and you can cash in on all those different sports going on at one time.
Ashley, we appreciate you joining us on the show this week. We'll check out Ashley's Edge every single day here on the Pick Dawgz YouTube channel and right here on the NFL and the College Football Show weekly.
Yep. Thanks, Jay. Have a good one.
You too. And we keep it rolling here on the NFL show. I got the franchise player with me, Chris Rufelo. What's happening, Chris? How you doing this week?
Doing all right, man. Yeah, it's another week in the NFL books. It's hard for me to fathom that we're already at the halfway point or near the halfway point of the NFL season. It feels like just week 1, I was sitting there watching the Baltimore Ravens blow that 4th quarter lead against Buffalo in my hotel room and just going absolutely bonkers. But it's another week, another money-making opportunity. I'm ready to break down some football with you.
Let's break it down, my man. You hit the nail right on the head, man. The season flying right on by. We know who these teams are or not, or do we? Because last night the Chargers kind of surprised me. So we're just at that point of the season where it's like, let's figure out who they are, who the good teams, who the bad teams, who the fades. Who's winning MVP?
Yeah, we're trying to sort everything out. We're having arguments. Well, we know who your MVP is, but we're trying to figure out who the actual MVPs are going to be this year. So
you know who my MVP is.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of my MVP, what game we talking about this week?
Well, you kind of set me up for this one. We're talking about this match between the Broncos and the Cowboys, and I've been quick to dismiss this Dallas defense this season, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't impressed with what they did against Washington last week. And the offense has never been the problem for the Dallas Cowboys. Like I said, it's been the defense, but you have the Denver Broncos on the other side, who I'm ready to sell on their offense right now. I mean, don't get me wrong, I got Bo Nix on my fantasy team, so I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. But realistically, it just hasn't been consistent for the Denver Broncos. And you're not going to be able to put up 33-point quarters like you did against the Giants, who I think that says more about the fact that they blew that lead than it was about Denver actually coming out and winning that game, because the week prior, it was a 13-11 win over the New York Jets. So, I think that the wrong team might be favored here. I think this should at least be a coin flip, but I get it. It's mile high. But this Dallas offense is firing on all cylinders right now, especially now you get CD back. For me, I think Dallas is live here. I'm going to take the points with the Cowboys. I'll put something on Cowboys money line as well, plus 150. I think it's a solid price for him here.
Welcome to the dark side, my man. Welcome. I think we win this game.
You promised cookies, so I was told there would be cookies here.
I told Chris he got to take the boys, or he can't be on the show no more.
I had a gun to my head. All full transparency.
Man, I like my boys this week for real though. I think we win this game. I do. I think the best unit on the field is my Cowboys offense. You know, we're the best offense in the NFL. I think this Broncos defense is overrated. They are one of the best, you know, but people be talking about them like they are the best, and I don't think they are. You let the Giants do what they did to y'all. That's concerning. So what you think we gonna do to y'all? Now my defense is pretty bad. I'm not running from that. I understand that. But I'm still not that high on Bo Nix. I think he's still kind of in a sophomore slump. This offense has had what am I trying to say? They've had multiple drives put together where it's looked terrible. And while they were able to fight back against the Giants, if you get down big against this Dallas offense, they're done, cooked, finito. So everybody, one huge thing I've been hearing a lot this week is the Cowboys haven't beat the Broncos in 30 years. Yeah, that's kind of true. We don't play them a whole lot, though. So, you know, not really too much to take from that. Dak Prescott has beaten 30 teams in the NFL. He's only got 2 left to scratch off his list, the Broncos and the Bills. I think after this week, he'll have one more left, and it'll be Buffalo. I'm taking my team. I think my defense looks better this week. I think this offense continues to look really good, and I think this Broncos defense kind of gets exposed a little bit this week. We'll see. It's a good game. I can't wait to sit back and watch this one on Sunday.
Yeah, you look at the other thing. I mean, we really deep dive the Broncos defensive performances. Who have they held down? The Jets, the Bengals with Jake Browning, the Eagles, who have been outgained by every opponent they've played this season, and the Tennessee Titans in Week 1. The 3 games they've had the most trouble with, they were games that they all almost or should have lost to Indy, the Chargers, and the Giants. So, take it for what it is.
There you go. See if my boys can get it done this week in Denver. Chris, man, it's a solid week on the horizon, money-making weekend. What you got going on over at Pick Dawgz Premium this weekend?
Yeah, for me, it's going to be my NFL big play on the board. Going to have a few NFL plays on the horizon. Been seeing the NFL board really well the last couple of weeks. You know, showing a ton of profit in the last month in the NFL. So just hoping to keep that rolling. We're still going to have plenty more action on the board. NFL, NBA, NHL, and the World Series too, even though it's probably a foregone conclusion who I'm on. So, but definitely check that out. Jump over Pick Dawgz Premium. Pair me up with Jay. Pair me up with anyone on the site. But always remember to use that promo code PICK to get 15% off your purchase, whatever you do.
Hop on with the franchise, ladies and gentlemen, and continue to kick the crap out of the books. Chris, appreciate you joining us this week. We'll see you on the College Football Show. And just go to the YouTube channel and you'll see Chris. Appreciate you, my man.
Thank you for having me, Jay. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And we keep it rolling here on the NFL Show. And I got Big Al McMordie with me. Al, what's happening, my man? How you doing this week?
Doing great. Currently 8-2, my last 10. Hit the Chargers on Thursday. Always nice to get the NFL week off on the right foot. A lot of good games this Sunday. Let's get into it.
Let's do it, my man. Let's do it. Let's keep it rolling into, what is this, week 9? Week 8?
I don't know. You've lost me. I've got no idea what week it is by this point.
They're running together at this point. I think it's week 8, though, but they're all running together at this point.
Yeah.
Where we headed to first this week?
I mean, I want to look at the Buffalo Bills, Carolina Panthers matchup. You know, the Bills, at the start of the season, they looked like the best team, you know, blew out Kansas City, blew out the Jets. Now you look back and they're like, they haven't covered the spread in a month. You know, they're 0-4 ATS to the last 4. The Panthers, on the other hand, they're on a 3-game point spread win streak. You probably know where I'm going with this, Jay. You know, I'm going to take the ice cold Bills minus the points over Carolina. The Bills, historically, they've done really, really well when they've failed to cover the spread in their previous 3 games. They've gone 42-19 ATS, including 20-3 ATS if their opponent is off a straight up win, which Carolina is. So we're going to take Buffalo minus the 7.
Hey, y'all know the stats when the dog get the barking in the background. I wanted to take Carolina here, Al. I would have took Carolina if Bryce Young was in there. With Andy Dalton in the lineup, it makes it hard for me to do it. And then, like you said, Buffalo is looking for a huge bounce back game. Carolina has a lot of good numbers at home in Carolina. When you just look at how well they played there this season, beat the Cowboys, beat up on their division rival, the Falcons. They look good, but I might got to take them now. The dog barking like that.
Did I tell you the name of our new puppy?
Ginobili.
Yeah. Yes, we've got two puppies. One's 10 months old now. The other's 3 months old. Ginobili's a 3-month-old. We call him Gino. The other one's George, so George and Gino. But yeah, that's Ginobili barking his ass off.
Shout out to him, man. We'll see what happens in this one, though. No Bryce Young puts a damper on this game. I kind of like the up and up Panthers. We'll see how their season progresses. We'll see. Where we headed to next, Al?
Go to my hometown, Pittsburgh, Steel City. They're going to host the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers, against his former team. All eyes are going to be on that game for sure. Green Bay's been installed as a 3-point road favorite. Last week I played against Pittsburgh. They lost to the Cincinnati Bengals in that Thursday night affair. Still, the Steelers are off to a good start this season, 4-2. And when you take a look at how home dogs that have a winning record on the season have done over the last 46 years, if they're off an upset loss in the previous game, those home dogs have cashed 57%. I'm definitely not going to fade that. I like the situation for Pittsburgh with Green Bay rolling into town and Aaron Rodgers being ultra focused. So we're going to take the 3 points with Pittsburgh.
Gino barking at the start of this one, too. I like the dog here as well. Sunday Night Football, battle his old team. Bounce back game after looking pretty bad last week for the Steelers. Friday night, not Friday, but under the lights, steel curtain, close to Halloween. Y'all know I like my weird spots and situations. The Packers, I told you on the show last week, they feel overrated and overvalued to me, man.
Yeah, I argued with you, but I was thinking about our conversation when I saw the game against Sarah. So.
They just do. I don't know. I get it. Like they're one of the best teams in the NFC, but I don't trust them whatsoever. We'll see. They still got a lot of football left to play, and they could, put me back on their side. But right now, huge game like this, I don't trust them. I want Pittsburgh in this one. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
I know where to find your favorite plays, Al, and that's over
at Pick Dawgz.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What you got over there this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to have 7 plays in the NFL. Looks to be a pretty decent card. And, it's it'll be a big football weekend. So go over to Pick Dawgz, team me up with Jay on the 2-for-1 handicapper special. It's NBA season. That's Jay's, big sport. I like the NBA as well. So it's a great time of year to join us. And, let's make some money.
Let's do it. Al, appreciate you joining me this week on this show. See you throughout the week, my man. And let's make some money this weekend.
Let's do it. Thanks so much, Jay.
Yes, sir.